Okay, I hope everybody can see the presentation, the slides, yeah?
Yeah, good to go, Rizat.
Okay, David, you can continue the presentation from here.
All right, thank you, Rishad, for introducing me. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar session. Thank you for joining us. As Rishad told, my name is David. I'm an instructor in Diverse Paradise Komodo. The idea of this webinar today is to talk about diving in Komodo National Park. The idea is to tell you about that and to get you to come here to join us to dive. So the plan is that first we will talk about the Komodo National Park itself, its location and its specificity. And then we will see how to get there, when to come, how long to stay. We will have a look at different dive sites, talk about the dive sites, and then we will talk about level of certification, about equipment, recommendations, and we will talk about day trips and liveaboards. And then after that, we will share experience, and then as Riziad said, we will have a question and answer session. Okay, so I hope everything will work good. If you hear me good, and let us know if something's wrong. It's my first time, so be patient with me. Okay, see if everything is fine. Let's start. So the Komodo National Park. First, where is it? You have it's on the east of Bali. You have the Nusa Tenggara region. So this is islands that stretch from the west to the east. And then this is the connection. On the north, you have, let's say, the Pacific Ocean, and in the south, the Indian Ocean. This is like a barrier. So you have, when you start from Bali, you go to the east, and then you're going to have Lombok. After Lombok, you're going to get to Sumbawa. After Sumbawa will be Flores Island. And then after that, another few islands, all going to the east. Between Sumbawa and Flores, these are the two big islands. Here is Komodo National Park. So Komodo National Park, basically, this is a group of islands. And then you have three main islands, Komodo, Rincha, and Padar Islands. And then another maybe 26 around smaller islands. This is the national park. So over there, on the east side of Bali, the climate is a bit different. It's a bit more dry. It's not the rainy forest over there. So those islands, they are like not too much trees, surrounded with mangrove belt and beautiful coral. You have like 10-month dry season and 2-month rainy season. So most of the time it's kind of dry and sunny. This place, this is famous for the Komodo dragon. This is the kingdom of the Komodo dragon. You cannot find it anywhere around, nowhere around the world else. So that's the first reason why they created the park in 1980. That turned to be a few years later World Heritage by UNESCO. So over there, you can find about 5,000 or 6,000 dragon Komodo, and you can go and visit them in the two main islands, Rincha and Komodo. So to go there, you need the guidance of and the protection of ranger. So the other point of interest, the one that interests us, that interests me particularly, is the marine biodiversity. Okay. So here in National Park, we are in the middle of the Coral Triangle. The Coral Triangle, it goes from Philippines to the north. Sorry?
Yeah, please continue, David. Yeah.
Okay. So the Coral Triangle is north point is north tip is Philippines. It goes on the south west to Malaysia, Indonesia, and southeast New Guinea and Solomon Islands. This Coral Triangle, this is the most you find like 75% of all the coral species. So this is the richest place in the world about marine diversity. To give you an idea, you count about 800 coral species around the world. Then in the Coral Triangle, you're gonna get 600 of them. You're gonna find. Here in the National Park, Komodo National Park, you're gonna find about maybe a little bit less than 400, like 50% of the whole world coral species. So this coral is creating reef, and there you're gonna have incredible sea life, incredible number of animals, fish, crustaceans, cephalopods, many. So that's the point of interest of Komodo National Park. And about its specificity, the main specificity is the current. So basically, when we talk about the current, you have to think this way. Those islands I was talking about, let's say Sumbawa and Flores, create a barrier. On the north, you have the Sea of Flores, deep sea, 1,000 meters deep, which to some extent connect to the Pacific Ocean. South of those islands, you're gonna have the Sea of Sumba as well, deep sea connecting with the Indian Ocean, with the cold water. Pacific Ocean is warm water. And then in between, you have the straits. Those straits are narrow and shallow, like a few hundred meters only. And then the water rush in, and there is this bottleneck effect, and there come the current, okay? So when we talk about Komodo, let's say on the east side of Komodo, on the west side, sorry, of Komodo, you have the Sape Strait. Sape Strait, 300 meters deep. This is where the maritime traffic happen. On the east side of Komodo, where is the national park actually, then you have the Linta Strait in between Komodo Island and Padar Island and Rincha Island. And you have another strait, Molo Strait, between Flores and Rincha. This one is super narrow and the current are incredibly strong over there. We don't go very much there. But what I want you to understand is because of this bottleneck effect, that comes the current. And the current is affected mainly by the tide, okay? So the tidal currents, the tide rise and fall. Then is the tide. In between, you have the slack tide. The tidal currents, they are affected by the moon. So it's all changing all the time. Every day the moon is a bit late, and every day the tide is a bit delayed. And then you have the full moon and the new moon. Full moon, new moon, very strong currents. Half moon, not that strong current. The current for us is interesting because it keeps the water clear from the sediments. That is good for the coral. It keeps the temperature level. So you have the hot water of the Pacific Ocean and the cold water of the Indian Ocean. And here in Komodo National Park is about in between 5 and 29 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it's perfect conditions for the corolla. And then you have the upwelling. The current bring the nutrients, especially the plankton, from the deep sea and oxygenated water, and then that create this wonderful environment for the fish life. And then you have a beautiful coral reef, very healthy, and then that offer shelter to large fish diversity. So it attracts the manta. The manta rays is the best thing to see, in my opinion. The sharks, schools of fish hunting for the smaller. So this is kind of paradise. And what kind of animals quickly? Okay, so I said, of course, the manta rays. About the sharks, it's gonna be black tip, white tip, gray reef sharks, bamboo sharks, nurse sharks. You get the dolphins hunting around. Sometimes, if you're lucky, very lucky, you can see the dugong, very rare spot. About the rays, you have the usual blue spotted ray everywhere you can see. Here you can good chance to see the eagle ray, marble ray, Jenkins ray. About fish, of course, the barracuda, giant sweet lips, Napoleon wrasse, so many humped parrotfish. About cuttlefish as well, the octopus, many kind of octopus, especially the blue ring octopus, the frogfish, scorpionfish, stonefish. About lionfish, you can find everywhere, but here you're gonna get different species. You can see small stuff as well, all kind of nudie branch, the seahorse, the pygmy seahorse, some ghost pipefish, so many. The mantis shrimp, turtles, of course. So this is a amazing place for diving. You can stay a long time before you get tired. So that will be about the national park, okay? So we can go for the next step is to how to get there. Okay. So basically, you have two international airports. I think now it's three. I don't know if Surabaya is international airport, but when you come when you want to come to Komodo, you have to come to Labuan Bajo. In Labuan Bajo, you have one airport. To get to this airport, either you come from Jakarta or you come from Bali. There is another airport, Surabaya. All the three of them are connected to Labuan Bajo airport. There is some plans for making Labuan Bajo in the next years international airport now. Now is not yet the case, so you have to transit, okay? So when you get to Labuan Bajo, you are on the west tip of Flores, and then you can see the national park. The islands is like 30, 40 kilometers from Labuan Bajo, you can see. Okay, so that is about how to get there. Now, when to come? When is the right time to come in Komodo National Park? You can dive all year long in a national park. I said you have 10 months dry season with a little rain and some months without any rain at all. And you have the rainy season from December to March, okay? So the best time, I would keep saying March to December, because weather is not, in December, March, you can get some stormy weather sometimes. Just a couple of weeks, but it can happen. In the dry season, you have in July, September, the southeast monsoon. The wind blow from the southeast, and then the sea can be a little bit choppy, but wind can blow, but it's still the best time to come diving in Komodo National Park. Before in April, May, or September, October, is the current are not so strong. So for people with not too much experience, can be a good option. December to March, then you have the monsoon from northwest. Then these bring the rain, and then bring the visibility is not as good as the rest of the year, but the benefit of that time is that you get a lot of nutrients, a lot of plankton, less visibility, but way more manta. This is manta season, so you can see a lot of manta. So the only point in December, March is that a couple of weeks, just a couple of weeks, you're gonna get stormy weather. So you take a chance, and water a little bit colder. Okay, how long to stay? How long to stay in Komodo? The longer, the better. Huh? Should be at least 2-3 days for sure. I would say the best would be to spend 1 week just for the national park, 5 days diving at least, and then a couple of days to rest and to, because you're gonna go diving at least 3 dives a day. It's gonna be very tiring, especially that you dive with the current. So that will be about how long to stay. Now, let's talk about the dive sites. So when you talk about the dive sites, you have to consider 3 different zones. You have the central of national park, you have the north, and you have the south. So let's start with central. When you come for the first time in Komodo National Park, I would recommend you to start with the central. And probably the best would be to start with Siapa Besar. So Siapa Besar is an island, one of the big small island. And then over there you have the reef all around the island, and you have on the west side a bay, a calm bay with a sandy area, which is protected from the current. Is perfect location to you can use mooring line and get the boat inside, and is a good introduction for Komodo National Park in easy conditions. There you have beautiful reef, hard coral, and you have Turtle Point, Turtle City, full of green turtles everywhere. Oriental sweet lips, in the sand, can see a lot of stuff, nudie branches, flounders, seahorse, ghost pipefish, lot of fish around the coral, beautiful oriental sweet lips, for example. So this one is very nice, and you can start to go into the current. When you get out of this bay, there is a slope, a reef, and there you can we can check you. Is a good thing as well for the staff that can check the divers. So it's a good way to start. Siapa Besar, you cannot miss it, just because you want to see and enjoy the turtles and to start easy. Then in Central, you have, when I talk about dive sites, first I should have said you have many dive sites, but count at least 15, 20 that you want to see with different, and most of the dive will be drift dive with the current, going with the current flow. So Siapa Besar, I told you, is a calm and protected area. You can get into the current outside, but most of it, it's easy. The second dive should be Manta Point. That's the usual trip that we do. Manta Point or Mawan Island. These are 2 dive sites when these are drift dive. Over there, the point of interest is to get to see the manta. So the manta, they like the current and they like the cleaning stations. They come to the cleaning station to get clean by the cleaning fish. And then it's perfect time to enjoy the manta rounding around the cleaning station. Then you go with the current. You need some information from your guide because at a point you want to stop to see the manta, so you have to hold to some rocks. At that time, it's nice to have a reef hook. We will talk about that later. In Central, one of the very famous place is Batu Bolong. So, okay, Batu Bolong, this is like a mountain that goes like a small island in the middle of the channel in the Linta Strait, in between Siababessa and Komodo Island. There, the current is strong, is deep, and it goes like at least easily you can get 50, 60 meters and deeper than that. And then this, one of the best dive sites, the place that people always want to go. This dive site is a bit tricky. You cannot go all around the dive site because of the current. You have to hide from the current. And then you have the north side. When the current goes from the south to the north, you're gonna hide in the north side, which is like more like a wall. And then when the current come from the north to the south, like when it's falling tide, then you can hide in the south part, which is more like a slope. Full of coral, full of fish. It's like an aquarium. Beautiful. You can see sharks. You can see giant sweet lips, giant moray eels. Lot of stuff on the reef, inside the cracks. And you have to look as well outside. You can see giant trevallees hunting. It's beautiful. But it takes some experience as a diver. You can go on the side when the current is strong. You can get some downward current. So it's very important when you go diving in Komodo that you keep following your guide and follow his instruction. Don't overestimate the danger in Komodo. It's quite safe when you follow the rule. But have to follow. And some dive sites like Batu Bolong, you're gonna have to be having some experience as a diver to be allowed to go there. Other dive sites in Central, Tatawakechil is my favorite. Tatawakechil, we call it current city. It's full of current over there. The coral is absolutely amazing. There's a beautiful plateau, beautiful cave, a lot of fish. People think sometimes Batu Bolong is current city until they come to Tatawakechil. Tatawakechil, when you have the strong current, is an experience. It's beautiful. Many dive sites, drifting dives, Siabakechil, Tatawabessa, Central, lot of dive sites. Now the second area is the north of Komodo Island. You have two small islands, Gili Lawa Darat and Gili Lawa Laut. North of this, you have two dive sites that are on top of all, Crystal Rock and Castle Rock. You can check, everybody talk about. These are seamounts, underwater seamounts, a bit similar like Batu Bolong. But Crystal Rock only go slightly to the surface. Castle Rock, the top of the rock is 5 meters underwater, where we do the safety stop. It means that Castle Rock, you don't have a cover area to hide from the current when the current is strong. So these are dive sites that need definitely some level, and that need some experience, and at least need as well to check the current. When sometimes it's too strong, maybe we have to change the plan. In Komodo, we make the plan, but once we arrive in the park, you have to understand that maybe the staff gonna consider the dive, and for safety issues, you're gonna discuss and decide maybe to cancel the dive and go in a more appropriate dive site. Or we can organize ourselves considering the moon, considering the tide table, but at the end, the conditions on the dive sites is the last to prevail about Crystal Rock and Castle Rock. The point of interest over there is the sharks, and the hunting is absolutely gorgeous, is the best, especially Castle Rock. There you're gonna have big schools of fish, and then like a big school of fusilier, all surrounded by a bunch of trevalets hunting and cruising around the sharks that don't feel the current. Those dive sites, the current, when it's not too strong, you can make the dive in front of the current, not like Batu Bolong hiding. You can go in front. Then you have to swim against the current. Sometimes, one more time, to use a reef hook to hold without touching, to hold the rock, and then enjoy the sharks passing by. It's absolutely amazing to see. Another two dive sites, and I'm done with North, Cauldron and Golden Passage. Cauldron and Golden Passage, these are dive sites in between islands, in a small strait. In between Gililawa Laut and Gililawa Darat, you're gonna have a Cauldron, the shotgun. This one is very famous too. Everybody wants to see this one. Then you feel the power of the ocean when the current is strong. The idea is exactly what I said about the bottleneck effect. You have a very shallow passage, very narrow, and then the current rush in. Then you go, it cannot be only a drift dive, except if you go on a slack tide. Everything is possible. Everything is easy. Castle Rock is easy. Batu Bolong, you can go all around Batu Bolong on slack tide. Looks so easy, but when the tide is falling or rising and the current is strong, it's not the same. So one more time, same story. You have to follow your guide and to copy with his positioning. You have to work on your feeling, on your breathing, stay calm, and then enjoy the show. Cauldron is a good place to see manta, a good place to see sharks, lot of stuff. Golden Passage is similar in the strait between Komodo and Gililawa Darat. I make it short. Then Central, it takes about 1 hour and a half to go there, about 30 kilometers. North, it's about 2 hours to get there. It's about 40 kilometers. Now you have the south. The south is way further. This one cannot be done on a day trip. You need to go with a liveaboard. You're gonna have Padar Island on the south of Padar Island. You're gonna have the south of Komodo Island. You're gonna have the south of Rincha Island. There, the water is colder. The marine life is a little bit different. It's very interesting, but it's not the common dive sites. And then you see less people. This is for liveaboards only. All right, that will be enough about the dive sites. One more thing about dive sites. Every dive site, you have two ways to do. On a rising tide or on a falling tide. It means that it's almost two different dive sites in one way or the other way. And then you have as well the slack tide. So it makes even 3 ways. So you think about 15, 20 dive sites that you can do at least 2 times. It's going to be different. So definitely when I said you stay 5 days, it makes 15 dives. You could even stay 2 weeks. The weather and the current conditions matter. So safety comes first, and then the dive sites management, it can be changed last minute. So people who come with us need to understand that we can sometimes change the plan. It's not because we don't want, it's because we have some issue for the safety. All right, that's it for the dive sites. Now we talk about the level of the certification level.
Wow, it seems like
sure.
there's a lot of dive sites. We can spend weeks and weeks just talking about it.
There's many.
Yeah. So before we move to the next slide, maybe we can do a little bit of polling. Yeah. So the audience can click the polling on their screen. We will share the polling very soon.
Okay, the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, we're still waiting for the polling to come in.
Maybe I'm a little bit longer than planned, huh? I think I've been a little bit longer today.
Yeah, if
I actually thought you guys were starting an hour earlier.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was an hour early.
Okay.
I got the times wrong. I thought you guys were like 7 hours ahead, but it's 6, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in
From,
Scotland, so.
oh, with the daylight saving, yeah, I think, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, please fill in the polling. If you had that filling. Okay, I think I'll share the result. Yeah.
Okay, it seems like we have a 50-50%.
Yeah, 50-50%. Yeah.
So
that's for the experience sharing.
Yeah. So, wow, 50% of the people wants to go back to Komodo again, even though they already visit the Komodo.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So the next one we launch later, yeah, is that, yeah? Stop
okay.
This one. Yeah.
Okay, we will continue to the next slide.
All right, so now we talk about certification level, okay? So for those who never been to Komodo National Park, the important thing to remember is that anyone can dive over here. We talk about the current and then how it can be serious, but it doesn't mean that you need to be experienced diver to get allowed to go to a national park. Anyone can dive. We have options for not experienced. Even people who never dive before can make a try dive here, can try diving. We give you a little bit of instruction. We make you, we bring you in a confined water environment, and then you try yourself. You make a few skills, and then straight on you can enjoy the beauty of Komodo National Park. Of course, if you are just a try diver or not very experienced diver, the choice will be more limited. We will take you to a safe environment. So you're gonna have the good fun, but you're not gonna have the full range. You're not gonna be allowed to go Castle Rock, for example, or Batu Bolong, or Tatawa Kecil, or so many. But still, you're gonna have like Siapa Besar, for example, is already a beauty. Manta Point, when the current is not so strong, is beautiful. Then you get, I've been working here 1 year. I took try divers who almost don't swim, and they could enjoy the Komodo National Park. It's a good place to learn diving as well. To do the open water course, even better to do the advanced course, or even you can do both of them. I did as well some people who come and do the open water course, and then they like it, they love it, they go straight to the advanced course. It's something that you can do. There's no need to wait. After it's about money, of course. It's about money and time, if you have time. The idea is that people learn very fast. When you learn with the current, you get it, and then you have people who are open water level who come, that's gonna be having more problems than the one who learn with the current. So that's one idea that you need to keep in mind, is that you can learn diving here, is a good place to learn. After, it all depends about your abilities. If you have some comfort, if you are comfortable, we can take you for more challenging environment. If you are not that comfortable, you can still enjoy it. But of course, to enjoy the full range of Komodo National Park, you should be at least advanced level, and you should have some experience. Even if you have a good level, even instructors should be aware about the current. You can be you can have have been diving in I come from Koh Tao in Thailand, for example, and then over there is not much current. We don't know much about current. I have some customers coming from there. Once in the current, they have to learn. So it's not only about the certification level, it's as well about your experience with the current. Remember, you learn fast, but it takes a bit of time. So the more you are experienced, and the more you're gonna have access to the full range of the dive sites. Importance is the safety. Importance for the safety is to follow your dive guide. When you come diving with us 1, 2, 3 days, we have time for it. It's good luck for us to learn from you how you dive. We can check you first, and then we can go and more and get more fun. When you come only 1 day, it's hard for us to, when you come diving in Komodo, if you are certified, don't forget to bring your certification card. Don't forget to bring your logbook, then we can have an idea where you've been diving. Then we can try. But the best is that we have time to know each other, and then have a nice communication, and then see as much as we can. We are here for you, of course. Is an excellent place for Dive Master course, of course. Dive Master course should be, we can make it in 6 weeks. I recommend you to think about taking your time and stay 2 or 3 months, 2 months at least, I would say. Then it's the best place to learn. You get a lot of credit around the world. If you come as a dive master coming from Komodo, the door are gonna be more easy to open. That's about level certification. Now I'm gonna talk about equipment very fast. For the equipment, better you bring your equipment, but equipment is heavy. It's not so easy to travel with. Don't worry, of course, we are a dive shop and we have the equipment. So you can rent the equipment from us. It's included in the price. Piece of equipment that you should anyway have. The mask, I recommend you to have your own mask, because it makes a big difference. Sometimes the mask don't fit, and then it spoils your dive. So very nice if you have your own mask. The dive computer is definitely something that you should have with you, especially in Komodo National Park, according to the conditions, that help you to understand what's going on, to track your nitrogen in your body. And don't forget that when you go diving, you need to take some time before you take a flight, because you need to get rid of the nitrogen in your body. piece of equipment that we recommend you to have, SMB, the Surface Marker Buoy. Why you need it? Why it would be nice for you to have? Of course, the guides have their own SMB, so if you stay with the guide, there's no problem. But for any reason, if you lose your guide, if you get caught into the current, this SMB gonna be very helpful for you to make sure that you make a safe ascent to the surface and that the boat can see you from far because the current can take you far. When you are lost, you should not stay and do a 3-minute safety stop. We talk about that always on the boat. It's an emergency, so you have to make a safe ascent, and the SMB gonna help you, and then the boat can come to pick you up because they can see from far. If you don't have, well, no problem. There is solutions. The best is always stay with your guide. Then the last piece of equipment is the reef hook. The reef hook we can provide as well. It's not expensive, but when you come to Komodo, it's nice to have because of the current, because of some place you want to hold the place, but you don't want to touch. The idea in Komodo, because it's beautiful coral reef, we want to preserve it, so we should never hold and touch it. The reef hook is a good way. Then you can hold to a rock. Sometimes it's not so easy to find the rock because it's so covered with coral, but it's on the rock that is supposed to be used. And then you can hold your line and enjoy the fish life in the current. Beautiful. So that's about the equipment. And now the last part going to be about talking about day trips and liveaboards. So the most common is to do day trips. Day trips, you start from Labuan Bajo, you go into the national park, central or north, and you come back end of the day. We go for 3 dives a day. So it's a long day. It's a beautiful day. Labuan Bajo is super hot on daytime, and in the park there is nice wind. 3 dives, 2 dives after you have the lunchtime, and then the 3rd dive. It's easier to organize. You can even organize a bit like last minute. We have a lot of people who come last minute to book for day trip. The day trips, we go usually one day central, one day north, the other day central, the other day north. So that will be about the day trips. Let me check. Easy to organize, more suitable for people with seasickness. Obviously, if you are seasick, we have the pills, but maybe better you go on a quiet day when the sea is rough. That is not every time rough, not only a few months a year. More time to explore land area. Flores is beautiful island. So you can go one day diving and then you want to take a day off. You can want to take 2 or 3 days, then you can come back. So it's more easier for you to organize your trip. The liveaboard is you get a boat and you go on the boat for a few days and then you go into the national park. You sleep on the boat. Is the best way to do national park, definitely. Day trip is cheaper, is very convenient, but the liveaboard, even if it's a bit more expensive, gonna be definitely more rewarding. You sleep in the park, you wake up in the park. You have the sunrise and the sunset. You can organize your trip to make sure that you are on the dive site when there's nobody or very little. You can, it's more flexible, means that you're gonna be allowed to say, okay, let's maybe wait 1 hour to get not so strong current, or you want to get more current, and then you say now it's flag tide. If we wait 1 hour, you're gonna get more current. Blah blah blah. You can organize your dive, and it's less tiring as well because you are on the boat. You don't have to come back. You don't have to wake up so early in the morning. It's a paradise to be on liveaboard. One of the good part of the liveaboard is that you get access to the night dive in the national park. If you do day trips, we can do the night dive, but it's not going to be in the national park. It's going to be close by in Bidadari Island, for example, which is very nice, but it's not going to be into the national park. Liveaboard, you're going to have the night dive included. We have the Parlezo here in our company. You have different type of liveaboards. Either you are alone or just a couple and you want to join a liveaboard, you're going to have people to be with, or you can think about a small liveaboard. Our boat, the Parlezo, is our liveaboard boat. It takes 3 to 4 people, and this one is very let's say it's very nice because it's only you and the staff for you. It's a beautiful boat. So you need to book this boat to be at least 3 or 4. You can make it only 2. We had some couple coming and booking this boat, but then you still have to pay some price. I have to say that it's a good deal. The Parlezo is not very expensive. It's a good way to, because you save the money from the hostel. At the end, it's a very good deal. It's a very good fun as well for the dive masters or instructors when I have the good luck to go on the boat. So I promote definitely liveaboard on Parlezo. The other point with the liveaboard is that you get access to the south. With Parlezo, we will go at least to Padar Island. You can organize as well island hopping to go and see the Komodo dragon, to go to Pink Beach, of course, Padar Island. Diving in Padar Island is very nice. Perfect place to make the night dive. So that's about the liveaboard. Have to think about it. This you need to book. It cannot be very much. It's not easy to make a last-minute booking. So that's about all what I have to say. Let me think about. No, that's all. So if you guys now is going to be the time for sharing experience. Maybe we know that there is 50% of the people who been already to Komodo National Park, so maybe they want to share their experience. Otherwise, after that, will be the question answer sessions. If you have any questions.
Okay, wow, what an explanation from David. Eh? So before we go to the experience sharing, we're gonna launch another polling to ask about the certification of the diving that you guys have. Eh? So the polling will be launched anytime soon.
You can see also your result, yeah?
Yeah,
polling
I can
result.
see the polling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still waiting for 5 more people to do the polling.
I cannot fill in as I am the host. I
Yes.
can only start the polling.
Looks like the majority is actually a non-diver. Yeah?
Okay, shall I display?
Yeah, can display. Okay,
Yeah.
38% non-diver. We also have open water and advanced or higher certification level. So maybe
So
the non-diver or anybody can share the experience, or for the non-diver, because you have no experience for diving, maybe you can share why do you want to dive or why you are very interested in going to Komodo Island.
if I may say about non-divers, when you come to Labuan Bajo, you can, if you are not sure, if you have some thinking but not completely sure, you can do a try dive. When you like it, you can make it and use it to do the full course. Then you don't have to make the full course anymore because you already do the try dive. You can take account of this try dive and make a open water course in a row. You're gonna get some discount. We can organize things. So that's what I want to say. For non-divers, usually the try dive, we do it because it's a good way to hook the people. Once they try, they understand that it's not very complicated, and then they want to get more. And then we can get them to do the open water course.
Okay, so anybody would like to share? We also have a gift, yeah, for the first two people who want to share their experience. And if you want to share, please unmute your microphone first on the bottom left corner of the screen. Then you can talk straight away. Okay, seems like
Can
nobody
also
wants to
ask,
share. Yeah.
or you can also ask question. Ask question is also okay.
Yeah. Okay, we can go to the question and answer session. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, perhaps anybody have a question and answer? We can answer.
So maybe additional information on the Komodo National Park. It's on the process of reopening again, the Komodo National Park. So right now there's a trial to reopen the park, and hopefully by 6th of July, the park will be open at least to domestic tourists, and then gradually facing open, hopefully in August for the foreign tourists also. So we are already in the opening phase. And for the people who are lucky enough and already there in Labuan Bajo, the park will be open also, yeah, for them. Right now, during the reopening phase, it's only for the local people as well as people who has been in Labuan Bajo. For example, like David, who's been there since March this year, so he's allowed to go to the national park. But for the tourists, he will come later next week. So,
Okay.
any other question?
Yeah. Any other question?
Okay, can I ask something? Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear
We
you.
About the diving during this pandemic, as you know, as you all know, is there any some sort of additional regulation from the local government? For example, you have to do the test before you go to Komodo, or during before you go on a waterboard trip. Can you elaborate more on that?
Okay, so On the dive center, there's additional steps required now for the dive center, especially for the rental gear, to disinfect the rental gear because it is a shared use. So there's a regulation from PADI and SSI, the agency, to ensure that there's no cross-contamination. There's also a regulation to prevent the spread of a disease by modifying some of the skills. For example, there will be no more sharing the same regulator. It has to be exclusive. So the octopus, for example, if it is for the body, it will be for the body. I will never touch my own octopus. Yeah. So those kind of things is there. We've been socializing this one. So all the dive center in Komodo now understand this, including us, obviously. Yeah. From the government, regulation is mainly for the travel. Yeah? So for the travel, there's a need to have either a rapid test or the PCR or swab test, yeah? Valid for 14 days. In the Labuan Bajo itself, as I mentioned earlier, right? So for now, even domestic tourists is not allowed to enter the park, yeah? Enter the national park. It will start to open next week. And the only requirement, because you already have the rapid test from the flying, yeah, later is to to register with the dive center or with the tour operator, and they will register you to the online booking system in Labuan Bajo, because each of the tourists will have to be registered there. But the dive center or the tour operator will help you to do all of these things. And because if you fly there or you take a ferry or boat, there will be a rapid test or swab test required. So you all will already carry that one anyway. Yeah, so that's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reza, for the question. Anybody else have other questions?
So wait, just wanted to be clear. If you go on a flight, you have to do the PCR test, yeah?
Either PCR or either rapid test. I think Labuan Bajo only required to have a rapid test. So
rapid only. Okay.
Rapid only. So for Labuan Bajo is rapid only.
And it's valid for 14 days, I think.
Yeah, for now it's a 14 days validity. So you have plenty of time to use the validity of the rapid test. Okay, any other question
all right.
or clarification?
Anybody else would like to give some questions?
In terms of experience, so I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm quite new to Zoom.
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's the sort of well, in terms of like depth and what you see, like what is like the ideal experience to have in terms of like how deep you can go and stuff to like see whatever sites you can go to, like yeah, how many meters do you think in terms of experience?
If I can,
because I know that open water you can't go beyond a certain 18 meters, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, it'd be better to have. Would it be more ideal to have the advanced course where you can go deeper?
Advanced course level gonna get you to 30 meters.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna go deeper than that in Komodo, like usually the recreational diver. It's always gonna be 30 meters limitation. For only the specialists are gonna be allowed to go 40 meters. There's no need to go that deep because we're diving with normal air. Then you're gonna have the problem of the time before no decompression. So when you go in Komodo National Park, you rather be advanced. At 18 meters, you can enjoy a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
More light, but you're not gonna get access to Batu Bolong. Batu Bolong, you don't need really much to go deep. But if you go Castle Rock or Crystal Rock, then you really want to go 20, 25 meters deep, where you're gonna get to meet more sharks. So even if you don't want to do the advanced course, you should at least look to do the deep dive course to get access to the depth. But it's not about going deep.
No, no. Yeah.
It,
No,
it
I
limits
just
you to have a good one.
okay.
But definitely, if you talk about the national park, you want to get the full access, and to get the full access, you're gonna definitely need to be advanced. But I recommend you, if you are only open water, either you can do in other place you go diving to, or you just do it here. It's a good place to do the advanced course because you gotta learn the current. The current is something different. People can be experienced diver if they don't know about current. You can have 100 dives with no current. You're still gonna have to learn something. It's a good place to do the advanced course. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay,
Cool.
I hope that one answers your question. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Anybody else have other question? Okay, I think so. We can proceed to the photo session. Yeah. So please, everybody, can you turn on your video?
My camera is broken, so it's not gonna be a good picture.
but you look good, David. Don't worry. So congratulations to Reza and Taisi. Yeah, we are gonna send you the gift. We're gonna get in contact with you through email or through chat. Yeah. Okay. Everybody ready for the picture? Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect.
Well, guys, I hope I didn't talk too much. I hope you enjoyed it and you get information that you were looking for. Definitely, Komodo is a must in a diving experience. You should never miss it. Nowadays, it's easy to access from Bali. Usually people go to Bali, crowded Bali. Bali is beautiful. It's really a good place to start. And then you should take a week, 1 week, maybe even two. 1 week for diving and 1 week to see Flores, and then to get out of the crowd and to get deeper into Indonesia. Jim Morrison used to say the West is the best. Here in Indonesia, the East for me is the best. After Komodo, when you do Komodo, then it's time for you to think about Raja Ampat, La Mecca. But Raja Ampat, before you go, I think let's start with Komodo. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'm gonna let Riziad make the conclusion.
Yeah, one more time, thank you very much for joining and supporting us through these hard times. You can get the information about our dive centers. Kindly follow our Instagram at Divers Paradise Komodo, Divers with S. And then you can also check out our website at www.diversparadise.komodo.com. You can check the dive sites there, the price list for our trips, and lots of other information. You can also email us for inquiries. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining the webinar today. I hope you all enjoy it. I hope it's going to be useful for you. And then later on, we are going to post this one, the video, on YouTube. So in case you can go to Komodo, but you have to wait for like 5 months from now because of the pandemic, and then you already forgot about the dive site, about the information, you can easily access it again to get the information. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.